Good to be with you.
You're going to be at that meeting this afternoon at 2:30. What do you expect is going to come out of it?
Well, I hope what we can decide at that meeting is who's going to be the narrow team that now needs to negotiate this and get into a round-the-clock effort to get this settled. We've now wasted 3 months on a bill that from day one the Democrats' leaders knew was never going to be signed, and now we're at a point where we really are having critical problems created both with the military here and in the training of the Iraqi military and training of people getting ready to go to Iraq, and we've got to do something about this. It needs to happen quickly, and I believe it can and should.
Senator Carl Levin, the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, was on our program a little bit earlier on today. I asked him what his response was to the president's veto. Here's what he told us.
What he did was veto the will of the American people last November, that we should find our way out of Iraq, that we've got to begin to reduce our troop presence because there's no military solution in Iraq.
What do you say to that, Congressman Blunt?
I think it's a mistake whenever you overemphasize your mandate, particularly a mandate in a very close election. You've got to remember on the House side, a number of Democrats, both times when this bill has come to the floor, have voted with virtually all the Republicans not to send a bill with this excessive spending. Certainly the American public didn't vote for that. Not to send a bill with timelines, not to send a bill that restricts what the commanders in the field can do in a way that's different than the command responsibilities they've always had. So I think it's a huge mistake to overemphasize your mandate. Republicans have made that mistake in the past. I think the Democrats are making it today in an area that's particularly critical to the future security of the country.
As we pointed out, Congressman, when we were introducing you, President Bush calls this particular bill, quote, setting a date for failure. But what's wrong with putting some timetables down, or at the very least benchmarks, and saying to the Iraqi government, do this by this time or we're going to stop propping you up?
Well, you know, the House Republican leaders over 2 months ago proposed that we put some benchmarks out there for the Iraqi leaders. I think that's important. I think we can do that. I've thought all the time, as the other Republican leaders in the House have, we should, but we've got no reaction from the Democrat leaders in the House at all. In fact, that idea was ignored as we went on toward a product that everybody knew was destined to exactly the result that happened yesterday. There's an overwhelming number of votes in the House to sustain the president's veto. That won't even be a close vote. Democrats knew that. We've got to get back to getting what needs to be done here done.
Public opinion appears to be solidly behind the Democrats on this. They have a majority of support for what they're trying to do here, and there is a majority, 2/3 of the American people oppose this war now. Are Republicans on the wrong side of this issue, and how long can you hold out against public opinion?
You know, John, I think this is too important an issue to worry about the polling. I think that the side that's willing to take on this jihadist threat, this narrow sliver but dangerous sliver of Islam, history will be on that side. And what we can't afford to do is leave Iraq in the way we left Lebanon 25 years ago, the way we left Somalia, the lack of response we've had for a generation now to these suicidal attacks to a group of people who have said they are opposed to our way of life and consequently believe that we don't deserve the life we have.
Hey, Congressman, real quick, there is a possibility that this troop increase could work and that General Petraeus pulls it out of the fire. But if by the end of the summer, Iraq is still where it is in terms of violence, is there any reason to keep going?
I think the reason to keep going is that how we leave Iraq will determine the future of how these terrorist enemies of ours look at us. And we need to be looking for what we can achieve, how we can achieve it. Our goals need to be realistic, and we need to be doing everything we can to encourage in every possible way the Iraqis to reach the goals for their country that can realistically be reached.
House Minority Whip Congressman Roy Blunt, thanks very much for being with us. Do us a favor, come out to the stakeout in the White House driveway after the meeting. We'd love to hear from you then.
We'll probably see you today.
All right, thanks very much.
26 past the hour right now, and Polly LaBar is in for Allie, minding your business, and I got to write down the name of this company you're about to tell us about, or a couple of them.
Well, Google's a company we all know the name of. I wanted to